warheads. But this should not be equated with a nuclear weapon. We do not have, at this point, if you ask me, at this point, any tangible proof that there is a program or a plan to fabricate, to manufacture a nuclear weapon. There are different scattered activities here and there is the material.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. And I want to tell you, we're in a weird place as it pertains to this war because we're watching the open negotiations style of Donald Trump play out in the media. And then we're looking and seeking for real-time information about the decisions that are being made inside of Iran. And the feedback is like multifaceted, right? So let's start with this. Senior Iranian official says Tehran open to talks on limiting uranium enrichment. Now, we know Donald came and he said, hey, listen, the Iranians want to come into the White House and they want to sit down and talk, right?
Look, they should have made the deal. I had a great deal for them. They should have made that deal. 60 days we talked about it, and in the end they decided not to do it, and now they wish they did it. And they want to meet. But it's it's a little late to meet. But they want to meet, and they want to come to the White House. They'll even come to the White House. So we'll see. I may do that, but it's a shame it wasn't. Could have been done the easy way.
That was after them being bombarded, and so we know that his intentions is to bomb them to come to the table to have a negotiation. There's only so much bombing they can withstand to where they lose all of their leverage, right? So there's only so many bombs that can land on the Iranian regime. And there's only so many people that can die. There's only so many people can be blown into pieces before you have zero leverage and zero ability to come to the negotiating table. And so this is what we're watching play out in real time. Now, the news won't tell you this. They just want to cover the things that are they just want to cover the points. They don't want you to really think. And over here, we think for ourselves. But watch this. Let's listen to what Caroline Lovett has to say about said events.
So the president is always interested in a diplomatic solution to the problems and the global conflicts in this world. Again, he is a peacemaker in chief. He is the peace through strength president. And so if there's a chance for diplomacy, the president's always going to grab it. But he's not afraid to use strength as well, I will add. Francesca.
Thanks, Caroline. What exactly would a deal with Iran need to entail?
No enrichment of a uranium, and it would absolutely not. Iran is absolutely not able to achieve a nuclear weapon. The president has been very clear about that. And by the way, the deal that Special Envoy Witkoff proposed to the Iranians was both realistic and acceptable within its terms, and that's why the president is sent that deal to them.
Exactly, and so we see that the Iranian regime is moving a little bit. They're moving a tad bit in the direction that we would like to see them go in. And I just think that when you deal with these particular people, that you can't just talk to them. And I want to be clear with you, to those of you who are American citizens who watch this video, when you deal with Muslims, you're not going to be able to just talk to them. You're going to have to prove a point to them. It's a part of their religious posture. It's been that way with that sect of people historically. So a lot of times from our perspective, we look at it like, oh, well, we should be able to talk to them and we should be able to talk it out. No. You ain't going to be able to talk it out with these people. There's some people you could talk it out. There's other people you got to box it out, stab it out, and shoot it out with. This group of people just so happen to be a group of people that you got to box it out, stab it out, and shoot it out with them. Or else they're going to do it with you. And for those who would say, well, man, you tripping. No, I'm not tripping. They are currently boxing, stabbing, and shooting all over the world.
Well, it's a Christian country. It's a Christian country. Yes, it is. This is a Christian country.
You're jealous that we're taking over?
You're not taking over. Why are you taking over? How are you taking over?
Mate, we've got it, mate. We've got it.
You've got it. Is that what you think? You haven't got it. But you've got people scared. You don't have us scared. No. You think you can take over town and tell us that it's your country? You've taken over. Not for long. See this cross? This will prevail. This is the British town. I'll come here where I like. I want
no religion.
Hold on a minute. Why is this so offensive?
Fuck you. We fucking hate you, motherfucker.
Based upon mass immigration. You can't reason with these people. Everybody likes, let me not go there. Cotton warns Iran to act fast if they want to avoid the worst possible fate.
Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton is with us. Senator, they took out a hospital, for crying out loud. The Israelis, they have been going after military targets. But if you go back years, the Israelis have had to withstand what is over hundreds of thousands of missiles, mostly provided by Iran, either fired directly by them or through the proxies that they use. They have been at war with Israel for all this time. Now those missiles are more lethal than ever. And now they're on the verge. It's 2 minutes to midnight, a minute to midnight of getting nuclear weapons. That can't happen. The president's been clear. I'm not exactly sure what a peace deal would look like, but I think the conditions I laid out are the only ones that would actually work. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Sean, I agree with the details of a potential agreement that you laid out. Color me skeptical that the Ayatollahs would accept such a term. They've refused it for decades. But as you say, Iran is the one that's waged the forever war. They've waged a forever war against the United States and Israel and the civilized world since 1979. And for 25 years, American presidents have been pledging that Iran cannot get a nuclear weapon. But only one, Donald Trump, actually has done something about it and has said that we're going to bring this chapter to a close soon. So as you put it, Fordo, their deeply buried underground nuclear bunker, has to be closed one way or the other. It can be closed the easy way,
it has to
or
be
it can be closed the hard
immediately.
way.
If they can't use this to buy time to rebuild their arsenal or to go deeper into their nuclear program, to me, it would almost have to be next day or within 2 days, no more than a week, Americans on the ground in the Fordo facility, beginning the process of scientifically figuring out how to dismantle it. But it would also include anywhere, any place, anytime inspections. And they have to give up their long-range missiles and, frankly, any missile that has a range to hit any American target in the region.
Listen. I'll say this. When it comes to these wars in the conservative media, it's very hard to recall this, but you have to remember that a significant portion of your pundits on air are CIA agents. Everybody likes to talk about how many of the CNN pundits were CIA agents. But nobody likes to talk about how the conservative pundits are CIA agents, like Sean Hannity. If you go back, you'll notice that Sean Hannity is a war hawk. He's always been a war hawk. If you've been watching him for a long time, Sean Hannity, when it comes time for war, he goes in, he's there. He's with the deep state. And it used to be, if you go back to Donald Trump's first campaign when he was first running, you would see Sean Hannity's CIA lapel pin that he was wearing. I mean, he wore it on air. He signaled who he was with on air. And so when I hear Sean Hannity laying out terms that the mullahs will have to agree to live on air with Cotton, it's almost as if they're trying to do their own negotiation. And imagine if you're one of the, Iranian mullahs, you're sitting in a bunker somewhere and you got all the TVs on and you're watching everything. You're seeing what everybody's saying about everything. You got all the intel coming in from all the different angles, trying to figure out what's the best road to take to deal with this. And so the media, Sean Hannity's literally signaling, oh yeah, we may have to go to your nuclear underground site and shut it down and blah, 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 blah. The problem we're running into right now is that the UN, which the UN is pissed at America, guys, because we told them we cutting off their funding. We got a UN inspector coming out saying that they don't have enough uranium to be a problem.
In terms of the material, I have said in my reports, we have confirmed that Iran does have, even now, enough material for several warheads. But this should not be equated with a nuclear weapon. We do not have, at this point, if you ask me, at this point, any tangible proof that there is a program or a plan to fabricate, to manufacture a nuclear weapon. There are different scattered activities here and there is the material. I'm a diplomat, and I believe that there is a way to take this danger or this concern out of the table in a negotiated way with a very robust, as I said, I've been in conversations, very good conversations with Steve Witkoff and with the Iranians as well. I believe that there are ways in which we can make sure that Iran does not get a nuclear weapon. I think this is ultimately what Israel wants and what the United States has declared, even what President Putin said the other day after a very important conversation with President Donald Trump. I think internationally there is a consensus that Iran should not be nuclearly armed, and that this is something that should be avoided. My impression, we are the international corps of inspectors, and we know what you would need to check in order to prevent this from happening. So let's see what's happening, and we believe that the opportunity should be seized, as President Trump said, but of course the space for that is narrowing. The IEA will be able to support if we have the opportunity to do so, of course.
And that's the crazy thing about the UN. You know, it's so many things that are kind of playing its role and playing out in this, that it's super complicated, because we already have issues with the United Nations based upon their role that they were playing with Russia and Ukraine, right? And we see where America was beefed out with them because they keep on giving Zelensky's little midget behind weapons and ammo to get us closer and closer to World War III. We know that Zelensky was pissed off at the G7 summit because Donald Trump left without holding a conversation with him, which, quite frankly, I wouldn't hold a conversation with his punk behind anyway, because Zelensky is a piece of crap that has not held to any agreement. And I want to remind you guys, let's just hit this so you can see it. Zelensky says Ukraine needs $40 billion annually in budgetary support to keep up the fight against Russia. Nobody cares. Nobody wants you to keep the fight up against Russia. Nobody wants you to keep up the fight against Russia, but I need you to understand, here is where the problem is. See, this is money laundering. And this is their money laundering hub. And so they need their money laundered. They need to get their bread. But I say all that to keep it in context that UN, the United Nations, is... I say that to keep everything in context. That the UN and United States of America relationship is already on edge over this little stupid midget. And so when they come out and start contradicting what we're saying, it's to be expected. Everybody's trying to force the hand of the president of the United States, and everybody is trying to control and manipulate the army of the United States, which is the greatest army in the world. They can't directly control it. Like, people keep on saying, well, you know, Donald Trump is going to do whatever Netanyahu tells him to do. If you believe that, you a damn fool. If you believe that Donald Trump is going to do what Benjamin Netanyahu tells him to do, you a damn fool. Joe Biden probably would. Barack Hussein Obama probably would. But if you think Donald Trump going to do whatever Netanyahu says he should do, you lost your damn mind. Anyway, getting back to the point. The point I'm making is this. As we go through this, we find ourselves in a situation where there's posturing going on. And it makes sense that there shall be posturing before there's complete and total destruction. No peace. Iran vows to continue pummeling Israeli civilians. Because the more they target civilians, and this is the weakness of the American people. You remember, to get us into the Iraq war, it was babies in incubators. And see, we headed in towards the babies in incubators moment. We already saw it, what it was like, oh, Iran attacked the hospital. It's true, they probably did attack a hospital. But they're trying to turn the hearts of the American people. And American people are always swayed based upon little children. Now, I think it's going to be more difficult to sway the American people this time, but they're going to start parading children in front of the American media and American people to see if they can sway us into going into war. I don't know. Do you think we're going to go to war? I personally feel like we're already at war with Iran. I know we're already at war with Russia. I already feel like we're already at war with the European Union. And I know we damn sure already at war with the World Economic Forum. So the issue to me is it the war going to spill out into the streets of America? Because it's going to take war to hit the streets of the United States of America for, unfortunately, the liberals to come to the understanding and realization that war is real. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next episode. I just want to give you an update on that. Make sure you hit the like, share, and subscribe button, and we'll keep it moving.